This is the first episode of roasting my followers' lifting technique. Obviously, trying to help them, trying to get people to better understand the ideas and the principles that I talk about when it comes to lifting weights, movement. This is the first time I've done this. So if this is productive content for you watching, please let me know. I'm using new software and I'm trying my best here. So stick with me. It might seem a little all over the place, but we're good. So yeah, would love some feedback. This is John Ditloff. Hope I don't butcher your name, but we've been going back and forth a little bit just in the DMs. I love chatting in the DMs. Obviously, don't expect too much from me, but if people send me a video, more than likely will help someone out. And so yeah, that's just an open invitation on Instagram. But John, I think initially was chatting about running into some problems with feeling obliques. He saw some of my posts about good bracing, good tension around the trunk. You should feel some obliques. He said he struggled with that. I asked him, send me some videos. Would he be open for me roasting him, quote unquote roasting him, but helping him out via this? And he said yes. So I thought, fuck it, let's do it. So he sent me a bunch of videos and we're going to go through a few things. But the first video is this. Let me get a little pen up as well because I like a little pen. So this is what I normally do when I'm trying to help people understand movement is just observe movement. I don't really believe that you need any particular assessments, table tests, all of that sort of stuff. More often than not, people's movement limitations, their struggles are simply because of their movement strategy. I very much subscribe to most people's problem is just motor control. They don't know how to coordinate specific movements. And if we just learn to coordinate those things and take some time to explore and feel things out, they're probably going to have a better time. And this is a perfect example. So we're going to look at some front squats. We're just going to look at some videos and some initial things that I see and I look for. Overall, depth is good, which is nice. Bounces into the bottom position a little bit. Might be a mass management problem. We don't know that for sure just yet. Big extension in the lumbars. So we might have some pelvic, some sagittal plane pelvic stuff here. So just like some tucking strategies. Anterior tilts are not bad, but always lifting in them. And if it's the only strategy we see, can be a problem. So there's definitely going to be some sagittal plane pelvis stuff that we want to unpack here for sure. Pretty stock standard. He sent me some videos. I won't go through those. But we're going to look at some more lifting stuff here. Here's a pull down. What we'll see with the pull down is the same sagittal plane strategy. We see a big arch coming in, obviously kind of ego lifting. That will be the first thing. Hey man, just go lighter. Don't need to just ego lift our way through. But we see the huge extension come in. This trunk extension seems to be a problem straight off the bat. When he goes to get his arms up overhead, he arches, he lifts his head and does all of that. And then he actually uses a spinal flexion strategy to bring the arms down. So he's using a lot of trunk orientation, rib cage orientation straight off the bat. Sagittal plane axial skeleton is going to be a big thing that we're looking for. We see the same thing here in the pec fly. We're going to see a flexion strategy of the system. We see that because he loses height. He's looking down. He's pushing himself into the pad, which is part of what we want when we go and train pecs. But if we're losing height with any of these shifted back strategies, any of these reaching strategies, whatever the movement is, it's actually counterproductive. It's not what we're looking for. And probably part of the reason why he doesn't really feel obliques. He just feels rectus. If we think about rectus abs live here. These are going to pull sternum down in space. They are going to flex the system. Head's going to be pulled forward. This is all an orientational strategy of the axial skeleton to achieve the task. And in this case, the tasks are the exercises that he's trying to do. So I'm starting to see the most common problem, this is most people's problems, is just sagittal plane related things. It's learning to, we'll get into some of the stuff that we're trying to learn. Again, I'd probably say just lighten the load. For a big arch bench, this is obviously a close grip bench. It's pretty solid. He seems locked in. His trunk's pretty rigid, which is what we want. He takes it to an RPE 24. He misses the lift, but that's all right. And again, this is just another extension exercise. So he loves extension. There's nothing wrong with doing extension when you're bench pressing, but we definitely have somebody here that has an extension strategy. That it's everywhere. We see it in the lumbar spine here. So we've got this big extension strategy here when we're trying to squat. We've got a big extension strategy with the pull down. So just using this trunk orientational strategy here. And we also see it here with a flexion strategy. So what I would recommend to John, if I was coaching John, number one, we need to learn sagittal plane pelvis is what I call it, but it's literally just anterior and posterior tilting. So the first drill that I would recommend is simply just a plank with reach. Pretty stock standard. What we're trying to do though is we are trying to get a reach with the arms to drive the rib cage back in space, and then learn to control pelvic position without squeezing your ass. The reason we don't want the ass squeeze is because if your strategy to control your pelvis in space is always a glute strategy, it becomes very difficult when we go and do things like squatting and deadlifting and hinging and split squats and all of that, because the glutes have to lengthen. So we have to let go of that active short tension on the glutes. So push the elbows down into the ground, reach the rib cage back. It doesn't have to be aggressive. The big thing with John is going to be the shift back is not a flexion. So if at any point we see the head drop down in space, as we saw with the pec deck, let's go to the pec deck, bop, 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 here. If we plank and we end up in this position, where the upper back's round, the head's facing down, what we've actually done there is we have just flexed the spine. That is not what we're looking for with these reaching strategies. With the reaching exercises, we are looking for a shift back of the rib cage. We are simply just looking to move it backwards in space. So we're looking for this, not this. In terms of, and that's true for all your reaches, doesn't matter what you're doing. So the cue for John would be don't lose height. If at any point during that reach you lose height, you've gone too far, you're using the wrong strategy to achieve the task. So we're trying to drive elbows down and we're trying to get this shift back. Another little thing that I like in these sort of reaches is feeding some distal external rotation. So sometimes if your hands are across your body like this, it kind of pulls your arms towards IR, which can help or lead to an elevation of the scap. Not really what we want. We kind of want the armpits to scoop underneath to support that action. So potentially for John, having your hands flat on the ground, driving through the elbows there, not losing height. If you just do that at home, you'll probably feel serratus kick on pretty aggressively. So that would be one little sort of cue that I would go. But the biggest thing here for John is to learn to get the rib cage back and hold it back with abs and obliques here. So I've got a feeling that John, in his attempt to shift back, is actually just flexing, and that is why he can't feel obliques. So that would be my first thing to play around with. Once you're in this position, it's just breathing reps. 3 to 5 second inhale, hold position. You should feel expansion in all directions. So on the back side, you should feel some lateral expansion of the rib cage. You should feel some abs expansion on the front side. You probably won't feel too much like anterior expansion of the rib cage. Just by nature of being in that position, there might be a little bit of pec tension that restricts that. But you should definitely feel your expansion in most directions there. Once you hold that inhaled position, you're trying to exhale for 100% of your air. The cue I like is you've got poisonous gas. Get as much air as you can out and hold the space that you created. So as you exhale, we don't want to start to extend. As you exhale, we don't want to lose that pelvis. We're just trying to hold the shape, hold the position when we exhale. I'd do a couple of sets, 3 to 5 breaths. For him, it's probably going to be daily homework just to feel and better engage with that position. And then if we go back to this, I would be trying to engage all of those cues in this setup here. So as he reaches his elbows forward, that is the reach into the ground. That is what we're trying to do. But if he does that reach and at any point he starts to round, which I know he's doing here because this is extending, which means this is flexing, being the upper back. So I want him to reach his system backwards in space and find a little bit more of a posterior tilt here in the setup. Without squeezing your glutes, John. Don't squeeze your ass to do it. Drive the system back, close down the front side, tuck this pelvis, and if you can do all of that over the middle of your foot, you'll be cooking with gas. The other thing is maybe just fucking jam a heel wedge in here. You'll probably feel better just by nature of just shifting the system back with a bit of distal shift back. But that would be the first thing. That would be the first little thing that I would help. That shifted back strategy that we're learning with the plank with reach should be applied here. So the top position should be the exact shifted back strategy that we had. So John, we can't be looking down here. I need you to maintain your height and push yourself back into the pad with your reach. That is what drives your rib cage back in space, is your reach. Once you've got that set up, do not sacrifice it, whether you are stretching your pecs in the bottom position or if you are coming forward to your reach in the top position. Maintain your trunk position with that shift back. You will get significantly more pec tension if you do that. Don't lose your height either. Do not lose your height. The next one that I would probably, it's the same here. This bottom position is your shifted back position. Here we have a big trunk extension. Eyes are looking up here. Not a bad thing for eyes to look up there, but this is all sagittal plane extension and flexion of the trunk. It's just a huge orientational strategy. We're actually getting very little scap thoracic motion, which means we're probably getting we'll be getting lats, but just not getting the best amount of lats that we can. So same thing here, John. I need you to pull your rib cage back in space. I need you to find your obliques and your abs on the front side, hold that position, and train your scap to move around that. Do not sacrifice your shifted back strategy in whether it be the stretch position of the lat or the shortened position of the lat. We are trying to get the lat to move the scap around the rib cage, not move the rib cage underneath the scap. Fix the rib cage so the scap can actually go through its position. You will have to decrease the load here for sure, without a doubt. Some accessories that I would recommend would just be anything that promotes that position that we're looking for. Anterior loaded squats you're already doing. We could just be doing them better. Split squats in that position, fucking anything. It doesn't really matter. Any movement, fucking bicep curls, you can feel it and think about it. Overhead, seated dumbbell overhead press would be something with the feet up. That would be something that I would probably recommend doing. So you can feel that overhead position without flexing down or without extending up. The main thing here is sagittal plane axial skeleton control. So sagittal plane lumbar spine, sagittal plane rib cage, learning to shift back without flexing. So not using too much rectus, trying to share that load with more obliques closing the rib cage rather than just simply pulling the rib cage down in space. Some just stock standard anterior and posterior pelvic tilt awareness and control. Anything that improves those things, you'll have a much better chance with. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully this helps you as well. This is the first time I've done this. If you want me to roast your lifting technique, I'm going to set up a Discord. I'm in the process of doing that. This is something I want to be doing more of. So if this helps, fucking let me know. Send a comment, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. I mean, you're more than welcome to send me lifting videos. I can't guarantee that I'll get back to everyone, but send me lifting videos on Instagram. I'm also available for online coaching. If you do want that, I've got a very small list, but just send me a DM on Instagram. Happy to chat about that. I'll set up a landing page eventually, but there'll be some links down below for some free stuff as well. So check out that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are hunting 500 subs. I can't believe I have to say that, but we are hunting 500 subs. Check out my other content. Hopefully I'll see you in another roasting video soon. Ciao.